Are you curious about what the real estate market here in Huntsville is going to do in 2025? Well, if so, you're in luck. This is one of our most popular segments, our prediction video for 2025. We have 5 predictions plus a bonus prediction, so make sure you stay tuned to the end. But before you do that, make sure you hit subscribe below to stay on top of all of the latest Huntsville, Alabama real estate news. First one's going to really be the hardest prediction. It's really the prediction that impacts a lot of the other ones as well. No one likes to predict interest rates, especially with the Fed and trying to figure out what they're going to do, but we're going to attempt to do that today. So starting with interest rates, I think we could see rates hit the mid 5s. I think more likely probably going to be high 5s to low 6 range. Currently, we're looking around 7% range. And so by the end of this year, I do think we're going to have some significant movement in terms of interest rates. The Fed has continued to drop rates and really signaling that they're going to do so in 2025 as well. So I think that is where the market will likely head. And then you got Trump that's being elected. He said that he wants to lower interest rates and may even get more involved with the Fed as well. So we'll have to wait and see how that unfolds in 2025. But I do think there is some risk where we could see a scenario where it even stays in the 7 range because, potential additional inflation that could happen as a result of, lowering taxes and increasing tariffs. And also you look at the Trump trade, we had rates that were closer to the 6% range. And as it looked like Trump was going to be elected, and then after he was elected, you saw interest rates continue to rise, even as the Fed announced that they were going to lower rates. And so that is a risk and a possibility for 2025 where we could see rates really kind of where they're at currently. However, I do think we're going to see rates come down in 2025. If nothing else, if we just get a little bit more stability, because typically, you have 30-year rates, they're tied more closely to the bond market and the 10-year treasury yield. You typically, if you want to know where rates are headed, you look at the 10-year treasury yield and you typically get a jump of about, 10-year treasury plus 1.75% is what you typically see on a 30-year mortgage. We're closer to that 3% range right now because of just all the unpredictability, uncertainty in the marketplace. And so if some uncertainty gets taken out of the equation, that could be a drop too to take us to that 6% or even into the magic 5s, which would be a huge boom for the real estate market here in Huntsville and really across the US as well. All right, so prediction number 2, how many homes will be sold across the US in 2025? Well, a little bit of background, in 2024, looks like we're gonna end up around the 4 million mark, maybe a little bit south of that. 2023 was that same number, about 4 million, which is really the floor. Really, regardless of what's going on with affordability and the marketplace and interest rates, 4 million is pretty much the lowest home sales will go across the US. Compare that to the COVID years where we were, around the 6 million home mark. In 2025, I think we're gonna be somewhere in between that. I think we're gonna get a 25% bump from that 4 million home level to about 5 million homes sold in 2025 across the US. And the reason I say that is, for one thing, 25% of the prospective buyers were saying that they were waiting until after the election. Here we are after the election, and if November is any little bit of the sign of what we're gonna see in 2025, I think 2025 is going to be a much better year. We had, looks like the best November we ever had on record in terms of sales for November for Matt Curtis Real Estate. We had about an 80% increase from 2023 to 2024. So a huge bump right after the election. So I think that's going to be huge momentum, and that's going to be a sign pushing into 2025 that it is going to be a stronger year. Also, if we see rates down into that kind of mid 5.5% range, that could unlock sellers from kind of that mortgage rate lockdown effect where people have, lower interest rates and they're just not willing to give up that interest rate to move. If that happens, I could see home sales as high as 5.25 million next year as well, because we have enough inventory on the market now to support that increased demand. Buyers have more to choose from in this market. Now, on the flip side, if we see that additional inflation, rates stay around the 7% range, then I could see home sales staying at that 4 million home mark, which really is kind of that floor of home sales across the US. All right, so number 3, what are home values gonna do in the Huntsville area in 2025? Well, if rates come down and there's more homes sold, I believe that home values are going to get more towards a normal appreciation level of 5%, because values have really held steady at the 7% rates. So if rates do dip down to the 6% range, it would likely create a more normal appreciation level. Typically you see around 3 to 4%. I think we'll see closer to 5% due to that increased demand of just people sitting on the sidelines waiting to enter into the real estate market. Now, if we hit the mid fives, don't be surprised if we even see values increase, kind of close to double digits as demand skyrockets into the marketplace. All right, number 4, let's talk about rental prices. So I think we will have some good news if you are a renter in 2025. I think we're going to see about a 5% decrease in rental rates, possibly even as high as 10% in the short term. And that's just the effect of all these apartment complexes that are being built all over the place. We really have a short term, really kind of a midterm problem in terms of just too many doors out there in terms of apartment complexes and homes for rent. And I think that's going to benefit renters in 2025. I say that's going to benefit you in terms of rental prices, but I think it's going to really be fool's gold for people that continue to rent in 2025, because as you know, if you've been listening to this channel, homeowners have 40 times the net worth of renters. And the reason for that is they benefit from the appreciation and the tax savings and the principal reduction and everything that you get from purchasing a home, versus if you rent, even if that rent's going down 5%, you're not benefiting from any of the appreciation. You're paying your landlord's mortgage as well. And rents are coming down potentially in 2025 a little bit. But if you look at the chart, rents go in one direction. And so even if you lock in a little bit better rate for 1 year, your rate's really gonna go up year after year after that, versus a 30-year mortgage, which your rates or your payment's gonna stay flat minus your taxes and insurance. So don't be fooled by a potential decrease in terms of rental prices. Look to purchase a home if you are on the sidelines and renting right now. But so nationally, again, rent goes in one direction. We're in a local market. We have an oversupply in terms of inventory out there. I have rental properties that I rent out as well. And one of the things that I'm doing on a couple of my properties is I'm giving a free month away, 1 month free rent, just to be able to entice additional renters out there in the market. That's just what you're seeing due to the overbuild with apartments. I do think also, you could have some additional demand as interest rates come down, as people look to get out of rentals to buy, which could put additional pressure on rents as well. So if you're an investor, you have rentals, you're looking to rent in 2025, my biggest advice to you is try to renew your leases, because if you do put it back out in the marketplace, you're likely gonna see a little bit lower rent price in 2025. All right, number 5, there's a lot of politics that have been going around related to this topic, but I believe, and it looks like Space Command is going to be relocated to the Rocket City. I do expect that announcement to come early 2025. And really, it only makes sense to relocate the Space Command to the Rocket City. It's our name. Also, Alabama outranked Colorado. But the big thing for the real estate market is this could be huge for future years, as it's expected to have an annual impact of over $1 billion and could drive growth in that Huntsville area for years to come. All right, so that bonus prediction that you've been waiting for. So our bonus prediction is that Matt Curtis Real Estate wins the #1 real estate team again for the 6th consecutive year. Thank you to all of our clients. If you would like to work with the #1 real estate team in Alabama in 2025 to either buy or sell home or looking to invest, we would love to help you out. You can give us a call at 256-333-MOVE, and we would love to help provide you with our signature 5-star service.